And now welcome back inside the Collins Arena as we get set for Game 2 of our doubleheader this evening as Brookdale takes on Middlesex. Brian Gadsworth, Tim Catalfamo back here with you. Well, Brookdale has hit their stride of late, winning a season high now, 6 straight games. And Tim, very much playing complete basketball of late. And since the addition of Tyler Hawkins to the roster, he has allowed everything to run just a lot more smoothly for Brookdale.
And remember, Tyler Hawkins has only played 2 games this year because he's a late add-on to the team, but he has played very well, Brian. In particular, we saw that last night against Passaic, all over the floor, kind of handles the point, and the team just looks different in the second half of the season, and you mentioned it, hitting their stride at the right time.
Meanwhile, for Middlesex, they're at 12-6 on the year, always present a strong opposition when these two teams meet up, and the Blue Colts are led by a very deep roster, a couple of key players that are out today, including their leading scorer, but this is a team that always gives Brookdale at least a challenge, even here at the Collins Arena.
And Middlesex will be a tough challenge for the Jersey Blues, probably one of the biggest challenges that they've had in this arena this season. Just a really tough all-around team. Now, Middlesex, to be fair, though, they started out the season really hot, but they've dropped a couple of key games in the last couple of weeks. They lost to Rowan Gloucester on December the 17th, I should say, and to Ocean on December the 19th. So they lost those 2 games, some surprising losses for Middlesex, to say the least. So coming into this game, I'm not really sure if they quite know what they have, but with the loss of their best scorer and the fact that they're playing on the road, it could potentially be an opportunity for Brookdale to steal a win, a very big win in conference play tonight.
So the starting lineups being introduced as we speak, and here it is for Brookdale. The lineup tonight: Beon Wilson, DeAndre Smith, Jelani Carter, Tyler Hawkins, and one change as Alan Ozoji was originally set to be a starter tonight, but he's dealing with a sore ankle, and so he doesn't start. Demir Fitch is in his place. And for Middlesex, the starting lineup today is put out by head coach David Turco. He goes with Akeem Raines, Joshua Daniels, Jared Meyer, Marquise Billingsley, and Luke Patel.
And I think that's something important to keep in mind, the fact that Alan Ozoji will not start. I couldn't quite get a clear answer out of some of the coaching staff as to whether or not Alan Ozoji is going to be out totally or if he's going to play part of the game. All that we know is right now he will not start. So definitely an opportunity for Middlesex early on in the game to try to attack the rim and go in the paint, knowing that they're not going to have the 6'8" Ozoji standing there waiting to meet them.
So these teams meeting for the second and final time of the regular season this year. As you see the officiating crew there, and it is Andrew Lample, Fred Leo, and Scott Rush. So it's Wilson for Brookdale, Marquise Billingsley for the Blue Colts. Second game of our doubleheader this evening. Glad you're with us here on Brookdale TV as we shook off some early technical issues, but we're on the air and ready to go. And in the air, and we're underway as Middlesex will let it go out of bounds, and it will be, we'll see whose possession. It will be Middlesex basketball. Of course, Brookdale played yesterday. Middlesex, it's been a few days since they were in action on the road at Salem. That was a victory. Joshua Daniels gets into the paint, stripped, and it's a jump ball call, which will switch possession over to Brookdale.
And Tyler Hawkins right there defensively. We talked about him in the open, having a great couple of games to start the season on the Jersey Blues side. Be calling his name, I think, quite a bit tonight.
It would be the third straight game with the same starting lineup had Ozoji given it a go, as Hawkins misfires on the first attempt, and it's picked up by Daniels. With a head of steam come the Blue Colts. Akeem Raines. Now, Blue Colts will reset things. Hands it off for Daniels, his three-pointer, he got it.
And just a simple screen there to get Joshua Daniels open, and he's able to knock down that three.
Jelani Carter, he's a pretty good shooter in his own right. Cuts to the basket this time, picks it up underneath the basket, and throws it over the glass.
Yeah, you mentioned Jelani Carter, his three-point prowess. He's not afraid to take the three. Had several last night in the game against Passaic. And for a big body like that, he stands at 6'5". You don't really think that would be his area, but he just makes it look effortless. And if you give him any little bit of space, he'll take that three.
That's Daniels. This time gets to the basket. He's scored the game's first 5 points. Now Middlesex with some pressure on. Brookdale able to get across. Wilson bumped there. DeAndre Smith caught in between there, whether he wanted to shoot or pass, and it's the Blue Colts who have it. 2 minutes gone by. Jared Meyer handling. And scooped up beyond Wilson. It's ripped back away by Meyer, and the two-hand dunk for Billingsley. Paul Chizek needs to talk things over. A 7-0 run to start tonight for Middlesex.
And we saw this last night of the game against Passaic. Brookdale did not start the game all that well. They took an early timeout and were able to reset, and then eventually were able to play much more competitive basketball towards the tail end of the first half into the second. So just not a really great start, but that has been characteristic with this team. We've talked about that during the broadcast this year. They don't start out the game all that well, but once they get settled in, they really start to find their strength and be able to work together both on offense and defense to put together some really nice minutes of basketball. But it's going to take a little bit more energy on both ends of the floor right now, because Middlesex definitely has gotten off to a very strong start.
Brookdale still looking to score for the first time. Just over 2 minutes gone by. DeAndre Smith in trouble, and a travel is called. Looked like he kind of lost his footing and was in a crowd. Turnover, Jersey Blues. Luke Patel. Here is Meyer coming up short and getting up for the rebound, Wilson. Carter. Smith battles for the offensive rebound. Second chance opportunity. Wilson able to catch it down low. Now Smith gets inside. Bodied up. Shot clock's down to 5. Carter is able to score. Nice move.
And I think Jelani Carter may have rushed that three, but he's able to recover, stick with the play, and get on the board.
Luke Patel hangs in the air, misses, and it's Brookdale basketball. First substitution of the game, Dave Calloway is the first in, replace DeAndre Smith. Early going tonight, Middlesex leads 7-2. There's Fitch with a crossover, and he lays it in.
How about the freshman with a great move to get around the defender? Demir Fitch in the starting rotation tonight, putting on some nice moves early on in this first half.
A couple of nifty buckets down low for Brookdale to account for their 4 points. Patel, Daniels one-on-one, 3 good, and another rebound for Wilson.
Nice defensive effort there by Calloway, getting a hand in Daniels' face.
Now Hawkins in his 3rd game of the year. First 2 he's posted impressive stat lines. Beyond Wilson, that's a travel. So Middlesex, their last game, they won it 81-71 back on January the 9th at Salem. And Daniels was the high man in scoring with 27 of them for the Blue Colts. And ball movement. Raines, one-on-one with Hawkins, 8 to shoot. Raines gives it up from the baseline. Billingsley can't connect. And Fitch bumped as he gets the rebound. Callaway fires and hits. Dave Callaway, a game-tying 3.
And Callaway has seen increasingly more action over the last couple of games, being able to come in and sub in early on and knock down that 3.
Brookdale is countered with a 7-0 run, but that ends courtesy of Luke Patel on the money from three-point range.
That's his 26th made 3 on the year.
And a save, but into the hands of Patel. Middlesex looks to run. Meyer spots up. He's got it. Jared Meyer from deep. And these teams trading runs. The latest a 6-0 spurt for the visitors. Crad's into it. These two close rivals squaring off.
Brookdale's going to get the ball inside here with a 2-3 zone defense.
Hawkins contact and a foul. Shot clock was winding down, and Hawkins to the line for the first time.
You see Hawkins there a little bit frustrated going inside and being able to draw the foul, but Middlesex was in a 2-3 zone defense. In that situation, Brian, you want to try to get the ball into the paint. No one was really moving, not a whole lot of movement on offense, and Hawkins took it upon himself and got into the lane.
He's shooting 65% through the first 2 games, and that percentage goes up with the make there. And 24.5 points per game. And he gets the bounce. Six minutes gone by. Middlesex leads by 4. On the drive, Patel couldn't convert as he went down. Now Beyond Wilson looks up the floor, spots Carter, can't hit the 3. Wilson on the offensive glass and the putback.
And Beyond Wilson, even though he plays the guard position on the floor, he stands at 6'7", so he's a big body underneath that Middlesex is going to have to box out, especially if he shows the ability to get those rebounds.
Raines. Mid-range jumper goes down for Luke Patel.
And I think Raines may have gotten away with an extra step, but Patel able to make Brookdale pay from the left elbow.
So he's scored 5 in the early going. And it's taken away. Raines will pull back. Here is Patel. This one's short. Tracked down on the offensive rebound. Meyer inside for Billingsley. Offensive foul. And Callaway took the hit.
Yeah, Callaway has shown the ability this season to take multiple charges. In fact, he had one late in the game yesterday against Passaic that really kind of turned the tide late in that game.
Substitution for the Blue Colts. Andre Pulley checks in as Billingsley to the bench. Brookdale into the front court. Wilson had it poked away and picked up Meyer. Raines, jump shot in and out, tipped. Meyer with Hawkins, the jump ball, keeps it on this end of the floor.
How about Tyler Hawkins? He's been all over the floor. That's the second jump ball he has forced in this first half alone.
Inbounder is Patel. And beautifully executed to Daniels.
Yeah, Yeah, Brookdale just caught sleeping there on an inbounds pass, allowing Daniels to cut to the basket.
Here's Hawkins, and Fitch able to clean it up.
And I think that was intended to be a pass from Hawkins to Fitch, but Fitch is able to recover and put it in.
Pass too high for Pulley, despite the leaping effort. And now Clarence Celius is coming in for Fitch. So the Brookdale 5 is Wilson, Callaway, Hawkins, Celius, and Mark Bruce. Down by 4.
Nice pass.
And Celius striding inside for the bucket.
A nice awareness there by Celius to get that basket, or to get the ball, turn around, look for one of your teammates. Wilson had the wherewithal to be cutting to the rim, and he got the ball at the right time.
And Brookdale foul, that'll be their first. So we played better than 8 minutes. That's a good sign when you can go that long without picking up a foul, as it's called against Celius. Nearly over and back there. Daniels makes his move to the corner. Meyer finds his spot, doesn't go, and it's rebounded by Hawkins.
Great job boxing out there by Brookdale.
Looks like we will get what did we get, an offensive foul?
Now, I think Hawkins was on the baseline. He lost track of where he was trying to set up a play. Unfortunate turnover there for the Jersey Blues.
Middlesex overall at 12-6. Unbeaten at home. They've lost 3 times on the road and 3 times in neutral sites. As Daniels is tied up, but they got a foul on Beon Wilson. That's his first. Paul Chizek has a discussion with the official on the far side. Jalen Jackson is checked in for the Colts. Handed off for Jackson. Drive and kick. Daniels is open. Count it. It's a 3. And now we'll have a timeout. Maybe?
I think it was the officials just want to make sure that the clock was correct. DeAndre Smith is going to check into the game. But that time, Middlesex did a very nice job of being able to work the ball around. Brookdale was late switching off and coming over, especially along the baseline, which allowed Daniels to be so wide open in the left wing.
Hawkins. Now Smith on the pull-up, short. Rebound Meyer. Middlesex pushes it up the floor. And throwing it off the glass, Jackson missed it. Not a very good decision by Smith as it's taken away in the backcourt. Push it up this way again. Here is Jackson, a fake. Throws it inside. Pulley forced to give it up. And intercepted by Celius. Both teams a little out of control. Helter Skelter. Hawkins, offensive foul.
Yeah, and Hawkins knew it. I don't think he realized that Jackson, I believe, was the one there that took the charge. Had great position. He was looking, he had his head up, looking at his teammates to see if he could pass it off to somebody. He didn't realize where he was heading. And unfortunately picks up his first foul. Good transition defense there by the Blue Colts. Last couple of possessions, Brookdale's been trying to push the ball up the floor. They like to get out and run. But Middlesex has done a great job in transition, getting back on defense, preventing Brookdale from getting to the rim.
Daniels. And Patel into the paint, lost it. Scooped up by Hawkins. And Hawkins got hit on the pass. Be team foul number 3 against Middlesex. Jelani Carter on his way back in, and Beon Wilson will get a breather. Celius at the foul line. Puts it up and in.
That probably should have been an N1. Celius drew just a little bit of contact, but able to follow through.
20-17. Bruce defending against Meyer. Jackson, a crossover, gives it up. Shot clock's down to 6. Daniels to the basket. Lefty layup is good.
And Brookdale got caught looking at the ball, and Daniels was able to blow right past all 3 defenders towards the baseline, right along the low block for an easy layup.
He is a skilled offensive player, averaging about 11 a game, and looks like he could do even better than that. Knocked out of bounds off Meyer. Brookdale to inbound, 13 to shoot.
And you see Middlesex County sticking with this 2-3 zone. Brookdale's got to find a way to get the ball into the post area. They've done that a couple times, but it's been a struggle, and it's going to be a struggle as we still have yet to see Alan Ozoji.
Celius to a cutting Hawkins, who collects and puts it home. Middlesex lately taking their time getting into the offense. Daniels has been the go-to scorer so far. Jackson comes up short. Offensive rebound, Pulley. Swooping in was Jackson, who missed. Carter's open. He drills it. A 3 for Carter, his first of the night.
And that's why we talked about Jelani Carter earlier in the game. He can knock down those threes. That time, not very good transition there for Middlesex, and we have a tie ball game.
Tied up at 22. Jackson gives up his dribble. Daniels backs up. Carter watching closely. High screen comes, the blow by Daniels. Offensive foul. It's going the other way. And that's twice that Callaway has done the dirty work, taking the charge.
And I like Callaway not being afraid of taking a charge, but I'm not quite sure that was actually a charge. Callaway was kind of backing up as he felt the contact. In order to take a charge, you have to be completely still. Coach Turco wasn't very happy with the call, and I have a tendency to agree with him. I'm not sure if that was a complete full charge taken there by Callaway.
Bruce for Hawkins, and the whistle blows because of a travel. Middlesex will get it back. There's David Turco in his second season as the head man. Last season, this team was second in the region standings, finishing with 27 wins to 7 losses.
Yeah, and Coach Turco took this team not only to winning a Region 19 title, but they went to the national championship title, or national championship tournament last year for Division III play in his first season.
Callaway in and out. It was halfway down, batted around, and now numbers for the Blue Colts. Jackson goes up for 2, finishing it off with the left hand. Middlesex regains the lead. Celius backing in, finishes. Nice move.
And Celius has been a player that has been forced in a way to step up because of the fact that Alan Ozoji is on the bench, but he's been able to come in and assimilate very well into this Brookdale offense so far.
Meyer goes right at Bruce. A reverse try goes off the glass. Daniels a three. Short, long rebound. Celius trying to save. Oh boy, look out. Celius and Bruce both going after it hard. They both hit the deck, but get up unscathed. And now 3 substitutions come in for Brookdale, and in addition, we will have a timeout. 5.5 to go until halftime. We'll step aside right here on Brookdale TV. Outside the timeout, Middlesex inbounds quickly. Game tied up at 24. Jackson calling out a play. High screen comes. Patel, jump shot, way off. And Wilson the rebound.
Yeah, and Patel's been rushing his shot the last couple times he's had the ball, so you credit Brookdale's defense for closing out on him.
Tyrese Bryant is in, and he misses. And then there's a loose ball foul as contact on Pulley. And Brookdale picks up team foul number 4.
And I don't think that's what Brookdale wanted to do out of that timeout. Tyrese Bryant kind of rushed that shot in the paint. Jersey Blues have been able to get the ball into the post, but have had difficulty the last couple times down the floor being able to execute.
Patel with Callaway on him. Drives, whistle. As he's fouled, and Callaway cannot believe it. Team foul number 5. Callaway still muttering. Handed off for Meyer. Meyer gets to the basket, can't finish, and Wilson unable to secure it. That'll give another opportunity to the Blue Colts.
Yeah, Wilson just trying to pick up that rebound with one hand. You got to get both hands on that ball and bring it in towards your chest. Gives Middlesex another opportunity here to score.
4.5 until halftime. Jackson kicks it out. Meyer lines it up, short. And Wilson's been busy on the defensive glass. He's got another rebound. Callaway going all the way, can't get the roll. And the rebound is taken by Pulley. Pass to midcourt, knocked all over the place. Corralled by Meyer. Bounce it for Daniels. Patel, Daniels, a three. No good. Out of bounds, and once again, another possession for Middlesex.
Middlesex is trying to play very quick, and one thing I did like about that last possession, even though that basket didn't go in for Daniels, Patel took a couple of dribbles in, drew in 2 defenders, and then backed it back out to Daniels, who was open in the wing. Just didn't go in, but I like that offense. We'll see if they go to it here on this possession.
10 to shoot as Jackson takes his time. Jackson crossing over, drive, kick. Meyer for 3, side rim, and a loose ball foul. It's going Brookdale's direction this time. As Pulley is called on the loose ball foul. Each side has now committed 5. Tyler Hawkins back in for Brookdale as Bryant goes to the bench. And Chandler Ray for the first time for Middlesex. Ray, I should say. Good correction there. I didn't think that was right.
That's what I'm here for. I was trying to give you a sign with the marker.
Carter way off. Don't see that too often. Carter coming up with air. Blue Colts trying to snap the tie. We've been knotted up at 24 apiece. Jump shot Jackson, no good. And Hawkins elevates for the rebound.
Boy, we've been stuck on 24 points for a while here. Someone's got to score.
And there it is for Hawkins. Count it and 1. And a chance at a 3-point play.
Leave it to Tyler Hawkins to break that scoreless drought, taking it aggressively to the rim, drawing the contact. Really has improved in many areas during the offseason. And I really am just impressed by watching him, and it's hard to believe this is only his third game this year that he's been able to play at this level so quickly.
And the three-point play is good. It's a three-point lead for Brookdale with 3 minutes now till the break. Also in the game is Josh Cabazzuto for the Blue Colts. Oh! Wilson rejects it off the glass. What a blocked shot. Now he has it along the baseline. Carter to a cutting Wilson who couldn't handle it.
And Carter had the right idea, but sometimes when someone like Beon Wilson is not open cutting towards the baseline, that's such a hard pass to be able to execute because you don't really have a whole lot of room for error, especially when you're right up against the baseline. Sometimes it's better just holding onto the ball and backing out and trying it all over again.
Ran the perimeter it goes. Another block for Wilson, this time a blocking foul. As that's Cabazzuto made his move, and he's at the free throw line.
And for Tyler Hawkins now, that's his second personal foul, Brian. So I'm not sure if Coach Chizak is going to pull Hawkins out with 2 minutes left here in the first, but nonetheless, going forward, it may affect Hawkins' play, especially on the offensive end. We've seen him be very aggressive so far.
Tyrese Bryant substitutes for Hawkins now with those two personals. This is a Middlesex team that has used 17 different players this season, so they have really used everyone available on their roster.
Yeah, they have a very large roster and a very large bench for sure. As Coach Chizak will take a full timeout, but very large bench, very large roster. Jersey Blues, though, have been able to hang tight and hold with them so far.
And with 2:01 to go until halftime, we will take a break here on Brookdale TV. We'll be right back. 27-25, Brookdale leads Middlesex in what has been a tightly contested game to this point. Several lead changes thus far. And we're now under 2 minutes to go until halftime.
Brookdale barely got it across midcourt and beat the 10-second call.
Callaway. 2 to shoot. Carter, desperation heave. And it should be a violation. Brookdale just a lack of awareness, not realizing the shot clock was winding down.
Well, two different things happened on that possession. It should have been a 10-second call because even though Brookdale called that timeout, they still have to get it across midcourt before that shot clock hits 20 because, again, every time there's a shot, clock resets to 30. That's what the officials go off of to keep a 10-second count. That's a new rule change, so it probably should have been a 10-second violation called on the Jersey Blues, and then just like you said, Brian, not very good awareness with that shot clock winding down.
Patel knocks down a 3, and the latest lead change gives the advantage to the Blue Colts by 1. Again, Brookdale has to get it across. Able to. Bryant, a lob. Wilson can't lay it in. Knocked off the glass. Carter puts it home. Under a minute now. Patel. And picked up by Bryant for the steal. Potentially numbers. Lob, and Wilson couldn't slam it down. He's got it back, though, and he's fouled. As Cabazzuto thought he had a clean strip, but Wilson readies to shoot free throws.
And I know that you want to try to go for the alley-oop to get the crowd into it and certainly to excite this building, but sometimes you're just better off either pulling back or trying to hit someone with a bounce pass in transition as opposed to trying to execute a very difficult alley-oop, which is difficult to pull off in transition like that when you've just gotten a steal and you're running up the floor at full speed.
Wilson will get another attempt, and Talking about the alley-oop, every time Brookdale attempts an alley-oop, Wilson is on the receiving end, it seems, and he's finished a good number of them.
Well, he's 6'7". I mean, he's a big target. He's a great body as far as his height advantage. He can get up, he can jump. So definitely the go-to guy for that, but I understand what Tyrese Bryant was trying to do. I just would have liked Brookdale to maybe pull it out, or Bryant to hit someone like Wilson with maybe a bounce pass.
About a 7-second differential shot in game clock. Brookdale leads by 3. Meyer, a floater in the lane, no good. Offensive rebound to Ray. And in the final 10 seconds, Middlesex can hold for 1. The shot clock turned off.
Middlesex has to hurry here, Brian.
High screen comes. Patel, long 3. No, and Fitch the rebound. Final second. That would not have counted. Not a half-bad attempt on the part of Carter. But the first half is in the books. Brookdale leads after 20 minutes of play tonight, 31-28 over Middlesex. And we'll get set to welcome you back inside with Brian Gadsford and Tim Catalfamo. And a fun first half to watch, entertaining basketball. Clearly these two teams very much evenly matched, playing very much with each other, and I'm not quite sure what the difference maker is going to be in the second half.
Well, I think it's going to come down to who has the ball last at this point. I mean, both teams have been able to use their defensive looks very well. They've been able to force some turnovers, and these are two high-powered offenses that both like to run the ball up the floor. We haven't really seen it, though, be out of control, and I think that's what's been very interesting about this first half. Both teams have been able to remain in control. For Brookdale, I still feel like they have to try to get the ball inside just a little bit more. Again, they're not playing with Alan Ozoji, who really I don't think is going to play in this game. He did not play in the entire first half. He didn't start tonight. A late scratch for the Jersey Blues. And Middlesex, they've been kind of going with the 3-ball. They've been able to make some headway in that regard, but I'd like to see them getting the ball inside a little bit more as well. So both these two teams, I think, are fairly evenly matched. And if you're Brookdale, after losing to Middlesex pretty handily early on in the year, I think you have to feel pretty good about yourself at this point, only down by a couple of up by a couple of margins going into the halftime break.
Yep, 31-28, Brookdale leads, and of course trying to extend the winning streak to 7 straight if they can get it done here tonight. So Tim and I will come back after the break for the start of the second half here on Brookdale TV. Brian Gadsford, Tim Catalfamo, the rest of our Brookdale TV crew back with you as we get set to start the second half in the second game of our doubleheader tonight, with Brookdale taking on Middlesex. A very evenly matched first half played between these two teams, and we'll start the half with Brookdale leading 31-28. So this game's shaping up to be a whole lot closer than was the first meeting back on November the 16th when Middlesex won it handily, 84-58. That was one of Brookdale's worst performances on the year. They're looking to make it 7 straight wins if they can get it done here tonight. Second half is underway. Hawkins, jump pass, Carter a 3, he got it!
And that's a great way for Brookdale to open up this second half. Jelani Carter, a catch and shoot from beyond the arc.
Jared Meyer forced to give it up. Rains, and a foul called on his baseline drive as he found a wide open Patel in the corner. But the foul is called on DeAndre Smith, his first, the first of the half.
I think Rains may have gotten an elbow to the jaw. You see him trying to loosen his jaw back after getting popped.
Meyer follows it up for 2. Brookdale starts the half with Carter, Smith, Hawkins, Fitch, and Wilson, the original starting group on the floor. No Alan Ozoji, dealing with a sore ankle, and so we don't know if he will see any action here tonight. Hawkins rims out, and it's rebounded by Billingsley. Meyer on the drive, and Hawkins able to keep it in. Or did he? It certainly appeared that he did. The officials rule out of bounds. That's an incorrect call.
Yeah, it was a late whistle there. I think Hawkins was on the baseline, and I don't think it's necessarily the Brookdale bench disputing the call, just the lateness of the whistle.
Patel comes up short. Smith was down for a moment. He gets the rebound. Pushing it up the floor. And he thought he had Wilson, but it's a Brookdale turnover. Dave Calloway quickly in for Smith.
Dave Calloway has seen a lot of action tonight. I think I mentioned this in the first half, Brian. A player that really hasn't played all that much in the first half of the year, but he's been on the court quite a bit tonight. So Coach Chizak's been trying to utilize him as one of their substitutes, trying to keep as many fresh legs on the court as possible.
Daniels blocked. As getting a piece was Fitch. Now underneath, Billingsley draws the foul. So Marquise Billingsley to the free throw line for the first time, the freshman out of Plainfield, New Jersey. Who averages 9.5 points per game and shoots free throws well, but not there. 80% shooter, no good on the first attempt.
In fact, he's one of 4 players on the Blue Colts side that shoot over 80% from the line this year. Joshua Daniels, Jared Meyer, Marquise Billingsley, and Luke Patel all are over that 80% threshold from the line.
Yeah, as a team, they're at 76%, which is second best in the nation, as Wilson gets it to go, +1. The foul is on Billingsley, that's number 3. Wilson unable to complete the three-point play. It's picked up by Daniels, batted away, and possession stays with the Blue Colts. Substitution, Joshua Cabazzuto checks back in. Middlesex down 5. Daniels, a jab step. 10 to shoot. Handed off for Patel. Back for Cabazzuto on the drive, and he's fouled.
A nice awareness there by Middlesex, taking the ball inside. Brookdale was a bit out of position. Callaway just a little bit late getting back to Cabazzuto and not being able to get a hand in his face. He had to backtrack a little bit, and he gets inside and draws the foul.
Andre Pulley in for the Blue Colts. And Alkeem Raines takes a seat. One more attempt for Cabazzuto, who hails from Perth Amboy, New Jersey, in Middlesex County. And no good, rebounded by Fitch. Carter thought about it, now he pops. Can't go glass. Meyer takes it inside, swatted by Wilson. Emphatic rejection. Hawkins in transition. Misses on the layup, but he is fouled. And free throws coming up. Foul is on Patel, his first. So Hawkins coming off an outstanding performance last night. He had 29 points to go along with 6 assists and 5 steals. So a game that he filled up the stat sheet.
And Hawkins tonight is shooting better from the foul line. That's been a struggle for him, not just this season, but even going back to last year in his freshman year.
3 minutes gone by in the second half, and offensive foul. It was away from the ball, and Cabazuto got tangled up with Callaway, and Brookdale takes over.
Yeah, that was a moving screen and an offensive foul all in one. And Callaway bears the brunt of it, but appears to be all right.
Wilson. Hawkins. Kick out for Carter. On the move to the basket. And this is a blocking foul called. Daniels took the hit, but he's called on the foul. And for Middlesex, that's their fourth. And for Daniels personally, number 3.
And Daniels had good position, but I think he may have been inside that restricted area.
Carter, 87% free throw shooter, by far the best on the team. As Cabazuto comes out in favor of Jalen Jackson for Middlesex. Carter, second attempt. He got them both. 40-31, Brookdale leads it. Middlesex has gone cold from the floor. Patel. Callaway defending against Jackson. He likes that crossover. Now Meyer to the corner. Patel's three-pointer. No good, and it's rebounded by Fitch.
Ooh. Fitch may have picked up his pivot foot just a little bit. I think he got away with a walk.
Hawkins to the baseline, and that's good for Fitch, and it's a chance at a three-point play, a bit of a late whistle as they get the blocking foul on Meyer, and Fitch will try to add one more at the line. And David Turco takes a timeout for Middlesex. 30-second timeout. So it seemed like the whistle came late, well after the basket was made by Fitch, but he'll take it. He gets a chance for 3.
And it was the right call by the officials, but again, and we've seen this now a couple times so far in this game, Brian, there's been some late calls. It's almost like there's a hesitation on the floor where the Jersey Blues are just, or the officials, I should say, are just a little bit hesitant to blow the whistle when the initial foul is made. They hesitate, and then they make the call, and I think that's what's frustrating both Coach Chizak and Coach Turco.
Fitch good on the three-point play. This is the largest lead for Brookdale now at 12. Middlesex needs an answer quickly. Daniels throws it to nobody. And now I think they're going to say Brookdale touched it last out of bounds, so they changed the original call. Paul Chizek is irate, and a technical foul has been assessed. So they had the original call that it was going to be Brookdale basketball. It was changed. The ruling was Brookdale touched it last. And now it'll be technical free throws for Daniels. Daniels an 88% free throw shooter. Daniels goes 1 out of 2, and now Middlesex gets another possession. In for Daniels, 10 to shoot. Jackson with 4, 3 seconds to shoot. They got to put it up, and they don't get a shot away. That will not count. Shot clock expires. Brookdale basketball. Hawkins to an open Carter, and he scores. Left all alone down in the paint, and Hawkins found him. Patel. Daniels, a 3. Way off the mark, and it's corralled by Wilson. Blue Colts have gone ice cold here in the second half, and Brookdale has taken advantage, building up a 13-point lead. Wilson inside, lays it up and in reverse style. Knocked out of bounds by Fitch. Jackson. Meyer, shot clock winding down again. Daniels is blocked and taken away by Fitch. Hawkins has Meyer to beat. He beats him, and he can't finish. And Meyer has it for the Blue Colts. 3-on-1 this way. Open is Daniels. Hits the 3. Middlesex needed that. They will take a timeout, and so will we. 13:40 to go here on Brookdale TV. We'll be right back. Brookdale basketball outside the timeout. Jersey Blues lead by 12, 47-35. Looking for 7th straight win tonight. Callaway drives, and he will go to the line. Team foul number 6 on Middlesex. This one is on Jalen Jackson. Callaway, a 50% free throw shooter. Trying to work through another minor technical issue. That's why we're not hearing Tim Catalfamo right now. Callaway, one more attempt. Jackson jump shot, rims off, offensive rebound, pulley back up, and he will shoot free throws. So that's Brookdale's 4th foul. Pulley just a 33% free throw shooter. Second attempt. About 7 minutes gone by here in the second half. Hawkins exploding to the basket, couldn't finish, and then a foul called. So for Middlesex, this is going to be their 7th. No, excuse me, it's Middlesex basketball. So they ruled Brookdale touched it last out of bounds. And the Blue Colts will have it. Down by 11. Do they have a run in them? Mid-range jumper short. The try from Patel. Loose ball. And picked up by Wilson. Bryant inside. Fitch lost it, but a foul is called. And so Fitch at the free throw line. Fitch hits the first, so he gets another. He struggled at the free throw line this year, shooting 26%, albeit not too many attempts. Daniels misfires from 3, but all in one motion. Billingsley, the putback dunk. And we are happy to have Tim Catalfamo back with us now. Your mouth wasn't taped, so I don't know why you went silent.
I had so much to say, I couldn't say anything. What are you going to do?
Daniels for 3, got it! And now a little spurt here for Middlesex. They're back within 8. And that has their bench back into it. Brookdale leads 50-42. Noise in the building now. Offensive foul as Carter knocked into Jackson. Paul Chizek disagrees. He discusses with the official. While the Middlesex bench stands and applauds.
And this is where Brookdale has got to be careful. We've already seen Coach Chizak pick up a technical. Brookdale's getting frustrated. You can feel the momentum shifting in the building. Brookdale just has to be smart and not do something to shoot themselves in the foot.
Meyer comes up short, but he's got it back. Jackson, crossover, gives it up to the corner for Patel. No good on a 3. Jackson takes it back and scores. We have a timeout. 8-0 run by the Blue Colts. They are back in this one. It's 50-44 with 11:01 remaining here tonight. 11:01 to go. Brian Gadsworth, Tim Catalfamo, the rest of our crew with you tonight. Good game here in our second one. Brookdale now trying to hold on. They're up by 6. Middlesex has been on a run of late. And their bench is into it. Carter gives it off to Wilson, who's able to finish. And what did they call after the Wilson dunk? I think they issued a warning of some sort.
No, I think they called a technical foul on Beon Wilson. I mentioned it a moment ago, if you're Brookdale, you have to be smart. Game like this, very intense, emotions running very high. You just have to be smart on the floor.
So that's 2 technicals now on Brookdale in this game. Previously, it was Coach Paul Chizek picking one up. And I don't know if you saw what happened, if there was excessive celebration after the dunk or there was a taunt. I'm not sure what the case was for Wilson, but nonetheless, Daniels to shoot, and he gets the bounce on the first one.
And these are valuable points now that you're giving up if you're the Jersey Blues by just making a mistake that really you shouldn't make. You just have to be smarter.
So now Middlesex will get a possession. Celius will have to wait to check in. And now he's allowed to come in for beyond Wilson. Brookdale leads by 7. Throw it back in the back court. Patel. Jackson sets, fires, no good on a 3, and the rebound comes out to Celius.
Brookdale just needs some type of a basket to try to settle back in this game. I think their emotions are all over the place right now, and they're not really focused on the task at hand, so they just need a good possession, work for a good shot, and get something going.
Well, there's a turnover. That won't help the cause. Patel races ahead to the corner. Meyer for 3. No. Offensive rebound. Put back no good. And the rebound defensively to Tyrese Bryant.
They have Celius in position, but Carter didn't give it to Celius downstairs.
Carter frees himself for the jumper. It's good for 2.
Well, so much for giving it off to Celius. Make the basket yourself. Brookdale definitely needed that.
Jackson hooks a pass. It's taken by Celius. Callaway. Callaway driving, floater off the glass. Offensive foul to negate the basket. And Callaway gets assisted to his feet.
And I think that's probably the right call. But for Callaway, that's his 3rd personal. So a player that's played pretty well tonight has been spending a lot of time on the floor. He's actually going to remain on the floor now with Brookdale, so he'll be playing with 3 fouls.
Now Hawkins and Beyond Wilson check in as Carter walks to the bench. Approach the 9-minute mark of the second half. Patel bodied up by Celius. Daniels strokes it, got it to go, and the foul. Joshua Daniels a chance at the rare 4-point play.
And just an unforced error there, Demir Fitch getting out and fouling a 3-point shooter.
And tempers are starting to flare. We got a lot of unhappy customers. You got to watch this one, the final almost 9 minutes. Daniels, the freshman from Monroe, has had an impressive night.
And that was the 3rd personal foul on Fitch. So now Callaway and Fitch, 2 of the 5 on the floor for Brookdale, have 3 personal fouls.
Lead is down to 5, 54-49, under 9 minutes to go. Smith sets things up. I'm sorry, that's Hawkins. And he stepped out of bounds. Now they're going to wave Demir Fitch to the sideline. Not sure if he's injured or what the situation is. Carter in to replace him.
I think he's got like some blood on his jersey. That's why Fred Leo, one of the head officials, waved him off.
Daniels, same spot, no good. And the offensive rebounder, Rains, who throws it inside for the bucket.
Yeah, Brookdale is just all out of whack right now. They're not really focused in this game. We've talked about the high-flying emotions and a pair of technical fouls. I think that's really just changed their mindset. They're just not focused right now.
Hawkins is bumped and fouled by Daniels. So there have been 17 combined fouls here in the second half. That is the 8th on Middlesex. And for Daniels, it's number 4. This is a 1-and-1 for Hawkins.
That's a big foul on Daniels.
Joshua Cabazzuto in. And Daniels forced to sit. 1 away from fouling out. And Hawkins able to make 2.
How about Hawkins from the foul line? I mentioned it a couple times. He is not a strong foul line shooter, but he has come up time and time again, knocking down those shots from the line.
Here is Cabazzuto, can't hit the 3, knocked out of bounds, and it's over to Brookdale.
And I'll be interested to see, Brian, if Brookdale goes to a 2-3 zone defense. They've remained with this man-to-man, which has always been Coach Chizak's style of play on defense. He's not a zone guy, but Middlesex has gotten a lot of open looks from around the perimeter. If I'm Coach Chizak, I'm considering possibly changing to 2-3 zone.
Hawkins banks that in, and Callaway likes it. He set it up, gets the assist. Brookdale leads by 7. Cabazzuto, a lot of dribbling, and Carter had the loose ball. The whistle blows to stop a potential fast break. And they got a Middlesex foul. So pretty soon we're going to have 2 free throws on every foul the rest of the way. Carter at the line now, and that's who Brookdale wants at the line. 1-and-1 situation, 87% shooter. This one is good. And 2 out of 2 to bring the lead back to 9. Brookdale foul is called, and even though it's not in the act of shooting, it's a free throw opportunity for Cabazzuto.
Well, that's the 10th team foul in the Jersey Blues, Brian, so this will be foul shots for Middlesex, 2 foul shots for Middlesex for the rest of the way.
Cabazzuto, one more attempt coming up. Brookdale is now maxed out in fouls with 10, so every foul the rest of the way is going to result in 2 free throws. This one is batted out of bounds, and who will have it? And it stays with Middlesex. Come up on 7 minutes remaining. Meyer takes the handoff and another foul. Which way is this one going to go? Appears to be on Brookdale once again. So now Alkeem Rains to the line. Rains is 73% free throw shooter. His first one. Got it.
And Rains, Brian, Rains is someone that we really don't see that often on the floor for Middlesex. He only has about 4 points each time he steps on the floor, so only around 4 a game. But he was inserted into the starting lineup because of one of their best shooters not on the floor tonight for Middlesex, and he has stepped up. He's played very well.
Yeah, Middlesex playing without their leading scorer, out with an injury, but other guys have stepped up in his place. Almost a 3-second call there on Celius. Back out to the perimeter, Wilson. Knocked out of the hands of Fitch. Brookdale retains it with 8 seconds to shoot. Callaway ordering instructions.
Yeah, Brookdale's got to be aware here. Only 8 seconds to shoot, so you have to be efficient.
Hawkins. Step back, spins, jumper, no good, and it's rebounded by Billingsley. Meyer pushes up the floor. Jackson thought about it. Now he curls toward the basket. Ball movement. Rains for 3. And he is fouled. No. It's an offensive foul.
Well, that's not something you see very often. I think Raines, when he was shooting, may have kicked out his foot just a little bit and tripped beyond Wilson. Coach Turco can't believe it, but it's a rare call that you don't see too often on the side for Middlesex.
Hold on an offensive foul as you're releasing a jump shot. That's difficult to do, but Middlesex pulled it off.
Well, like I said, the only way that that can happen is when you're shooting, if you kick out your foot, almost as if you're shooting off balance.
Callaway is open for 3. Yes! Patel puts it on the floor. Jumper, count it, and 1. Luke Patel a chance for 3. DeAndre Smith is in for Callaway. And Luke Patel, another good free throw shooter. We talked about Middlesex has many of them. 81% is Patel, the sophomore from Monroe.
Callaway picked up his 4th personal foul.
So he's 1 away from fouling out. The 3-point play is good. It's back to a 6-point Brookdale advantage. This is a wild game tonight. It's been close throughout. Enter the post. Celius spinning, puts it up, too strong. And then Jackson is bumped and fouled, and he's going to shoot 2.
And this is turning into a game where it's going to come down to which team makes their foul shots, because at this point, both teams already maxed out with team fouls, and we still have 5.5 minutes to go, so we're a long way from this game being done.
Jackson a 68% shooter, below the team average, but he gets the roll on the first one. Carter in for Celius. Second attempt. He got the roll on both. 63-59, under 5.5 to go. Brookdale 5 is Smith, Wilson, Carter, Fitch, and Hawkins. Hawkins gets a touch. Fitch sets the screen. Hawkins into the paint, lays it up and in. Bodies falling to the floor as Jackson pushes into the front court. Patel to the basket, doesn't get the roll, tip in, no, but a foul. Foul is on Brookdale, and it's 2 free throws once again, this time for Marquise Billingsley.
And I'll say it again, Brian, I really do think Brookdale should go to a zone defense here. They're in a man-to-man, but for some reason, they're having difficulty staying with their man on defense. Middlesex is getting a lot of open shots around the perimeter. And if they can't get shots around the perimeter, they're going inside, driving to the rim, getting fouled, which even if you're in a 2-3 zone defense, it doesn't cut down the amount of fouls you can commit. But I just think it would be a better defensive look going forward.
2 out of 2 for Billingsley. A change for Middlesex is in for the first time tonight is Sean Robinson. Fitch along the baseline back for Smith. Smith, pull-up jumper, there's a whistle. And what's the call? It's going the other way.
I think that's a moving screen on Demir Fitch, and if that's a foul on him, that's his 5th.
So it'll be Middlesex basketball. And now Paul Chizek, I think, feels that the basket should have counted, that maybe the foul came after the shot was made, and that's what the discussion is about. I don't think he's going to win this argument, but E for effort for trying. At least he made his point clear. And in comes Celius.
And that's a big loss for Brookdale because, remember, they're still playing without Alan Ozoji. Demir Fitch started in his place tonight. With him fouling out, someone like Clarence Celius is going to have to step up and fill that gap.
Robinson for Jackson. Jackson kicks it out. Here is Meyer. Comes up way short, and it's rebounded by Celius. To the last 4 minutes. Brookdale holding on to a 4-point lead. Celius sets the high screen. Hawkins along the baseline gives it up. Celius for 3! Wilson tips it to himself, but they get him for a loose ball foul.
And that's number 4 on Beon Wilson. So Brookdale continuing to run in the foul trouble down the stretch. And the problem is now, if you have to take Beon Wilson out of the game, who do you put in? I don't really know anybody else that you can put in to fill that spot. So Brookdale's in a tough spot here with Wilson picking up that 4th foul.
Luke Patel checking in for the Blue Colts. One of their better shooters comes back into the game. One more attempt for Raines, and he makes a pair. 2-point game, 65-63. Smith slowly walks ahead. Smith spinning in the lane. Wilson driving baseline, bumped and fouled, and he'll shoot 2. Now get ready for a whole lot of free throws in these final 3.5 minutes, and it's been a second half that's been filled with them to begin with. Wilson struggles in that department. Joshua Daniels, who's been limited due to foul trouble, he's now on the court with 4, so he'll have to be careful. But Middlesex wants one of their better offensive weapons in the game. Wilson, 1 out of 2. Daniels spinning, and no shot, he traveled. Jalen Jackson in, and Daniels quickly to the bench. That was not a long stint in the game. Marquise Billingsley makes it a second substitution, and let's make it a third, Sean Robinson.
And Coach Turco's in a similar spot. Several of his players in foul trouble as well. So trying to play what I think is a little offense-defense here. Try to put your best defensive players on the floor when you're on defense, and then sub those offensive players back on when you get the ball back.
Smith making his move. Now Hawkins backing up against Meyer, takes it at him, into the paint, floating shot, no. Picked up by Raines. 4-on-1 developing. Raines takes it himself and he scores! It's a 1-point game. 66-65. Hawkins using the screen, driving, didn't get anything on the shot, and Meyer the other way for the Blue Colts. Meyer to an open man, it's Jackson, short, and Hawkins able to snatch it. Timeout taken. 2:26 to go. And what has been a neck-and-neck affair, Brookdale and Middlesex. Full timeout will step aside here on Brookdale TV. The scoreboard tells the story, does it not? 1-point game. Brookdale 66, Middlesex 65 with only 2:26 remaining. As Brookdale tries to extend a winning streak to 7 in a row. But Middlesex, who entered the day third place in the region, they have provided stiff competition as they look to potentially sweep the season series between these two teams. Brookdale started the day 8th place in the region. Of course, the top 8 make the region tournament. Brookdale basketball. Disorganized possession with the shot clock at 10. Hawkins finds Carter. Carter puts it on the floor, drives. Celius down low, and a travel. And now they evidently have changed the call. It seems that the one official called it a jump ball.
Still doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's Middlesex basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it's still going to be Middlesex basketball either way. However, the last couple of possessions, Brian, I've noticed it's been DeAndre Smith handling the point for the Jersey Blues and not Tyler Hawkins. And I'm a little bit perplexed by that. I'm not sure if that's an adjustment that the coaching staff made, but I feel a little bit more comfortable with Tyler Hawkins at the point and DeAndre Smith on the floor. But Hawkins handling the point, I think, is your best bet.
Under 2 minutes to go now. Middlesex a chance to take the lead on this possession. Here is Patel. No good. The follow is no good. And the loose ball picked up, and scoring is Billingsley. Middlesex leads 67-66. A minute and a half to go. Into the post. Celius gets it to drop.
That's a huge basket for Celius. Brookdale needed something in the post, and they got it to Celius when he was open.
Patel steps back on Callaway. Seesaw affair tonight. Daniels backs up. Callaway up on Patel. Hands it off. Shot clock inside 10. Jackson inside. And the easy bucket for Billingsley. Back-to-back big scores down low. Brookdale once again down by 1. Looking to retake the lead once again. Hawkins. Carter for the lead. Oh, yeah! Patel fakes to the corner, and Jackson, that's no good. Long rebound secured by Callaway. And now Middlesex has to foul. Shot clock and game clock nearly identical.
Yeah, I don't know if Middlesex realized that they have to foul here. They can't let that shot clock wind down because it's almost identical, as you said, Brian. So some
And
wasted seconds there.
Daniels gives himself up because that's number 5, and he'll be forced to be a spectator for the rest of this one.
Well, this game is far from over because we've documented the struggles that Brookdale has had as a team from the line. And with only a 2-point cushion, even if you make both of them, game is still plenty far in reach for Middlesex to get back in the ball game with a quick 2 or even a 3, depending on how these foul shots go.
Big free throws for Wilson. 2 makes would make it a 2-possession game. And he's no good on the first one. Just a 41% free throw shooter. The game in the balance. Second attempt, Wilson, no good, and it's rebounded by Meyer. Middlesex will not take a timeout. Into the front court, all the way to the basket, rains off the glass, no good. It's rebounded by Hawkins, and he is fouled. 9.7 remaining, and again a chance to make it a 2-possession game. The crowd salutes.
Well, Middlesex has had an opportunity there, just could not quite execute. But again, Brookdale in the same position that they were a moment ago with only a 2-point lead. They can really kind of seal this up if Hawkins can make both. But again, foul shots as a team have just been a huge hurdle that Brookdale has struggled with this year.
They'll miss their last 2 at the line. Substitution for the Blue Colts as Joshua Cabazzuto checks in. Long delay before the free throws. Two makes would be huge for the sophomore. First attempt. Calmly knocks it down. A make here would make things awfully difficult on Middlesex. They still have 3 timeouts remaining. Hawkins. Got it! And there's the timeout. 9.7 seconds remaining. It's a full timeout. We'll be right back here on Brookdale TV. In the final 9.7 seconds, Brookdale holding on to a 4-point lead, 73-69. It will be Middlesex basketball outside the timeout. And whether they go for a 2 or 3, the bottom line for the Blue Colts is they are going to look for a quick score.
Yeah, and certainly with Brookdale being in the double bonus, any foul that's committed on the floor is going to be 2 shots regardless. So tough position for Coach Turco to be in, especially being down by 4. If you were down by 3, you'd have a little bit more options, I feel, but you still don't necessarily have to go for a 3, Brian. You can try to get a quick 2 and play the fouling game because Brookdale has shot so poorly as a whole from the line.
The downside is they have to inbound from the back court. Down by 4 points. Here's Patel going behind the back. Patel puts up a 3. It's no good. Rebounded by Wilson, and it is over. The winning streak is 7. And it took every fiber of Brookdale's heart and soul tonight to get it done as they knock off Middlesex. The final score, Brookdale 73, Middlesex 69. And these teams shake hands as you see there, a nice friendly exchange, which of course you like to see, and we get set to welcome you back inside with Brian Gadzard and Tim Catalfamo, and this was a wild game, a really close throughout, not a lot separating these teams clearly, but Brookdale made the plays late. In particular, Jelani Carter, when it was kind of going back and forth, each team was making shots. Carter, the one who made the difference-making shot.
Well, he had that big three late in the game that really kind of pushed the momentum forward. Again, Brookdale was a little bit out of the sort, so to speak. They had those 2 technical fouls about midway through the second half. They weren't really focused on what was going on in the game, and it was Carter that made that three that got Brookdale back on track. And this is a major win for the Jersey Blues against one of the best teams in the Region 19 Conference.
So now they'll be on the road. They're not going to be back here until the month of February, but we talked about in the open, they've clearly found their stride now, working on a long winning streak, and now look to take this on the road where they'll be for the next several weeks.
And I was talking to some of the coaching staff before the game. They felt like if they could win this game, they could run the table in the month of January. So they have the momentum. They've won several games in a row now. Now the question will be, how can they perform on the road with some still very tough teams in the Region 19 Conference? I mean, no game is ever easy, but certainly Brookdale, a very major win on their home floor tonight.
So they get it done as they knock off Middlesex. These teams end up splitting the season series here this season, and the Jersey Blues get a well-earned victory. 7 straight wins now for Brookdale. So thanks to everyone for tuning in for tonight's doubleheader. For Tim Catalfamo, the rest of our Brookdale TV crew, I'm Brian Gadsworth. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in a few weeks here on Brookdale TV. Have a good night.